an InsurTech company dedicated to partnering with customers to identify, measure, and manage insurance risk. And to achieve this, they are building a comprehensive core InsurTech platform in-house. Welcome to another exciting episode of Follow Startups. I'm your host Ankita Pahwa, and today we are delighted to speak with Nipun Virmani, the founder of RIA. With a background in developing trading systems for Goldman Sachs and a shift to tech entrepreneurship in India, Nipun brings extensive expertise to his role at RIA Insurance. Join us as Nipun shares how they leverage AI and automation to provide innovative software solutions that enhance decision making and streamline workflows for insurance partners. Hi, Nipun. Welcome to Follow Startups.
Hi, Ankita. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to this.
Nipun, so to start off, could you share a bit about your background and the moment in your career when you decided to embark on this venture?
So absolutely, and I think you already introduced me a little bit, but let me add a little bit more color. So I am a computer engineer. My background, I really liked building tech, so that was a natural fit for me. From there, I decided to move to New York, where I was building tech for the interest rate trading desk at Goldman. Systems used globally across London, New York, and Tokyo. Did many different things from pricing, risk calculation, algo trading, regulatory and ops systems. But then it felt like I wanted more. So at that point, I decided to go more entrepreneurial, and I moved to Boston, where I did my MBA at MIT, and that's where my entrepreneurial journey really started, with my first dip into entrepreneurship and starting a company with a friend. Soon after, though, I decided that I wanted to always come back to India. Actually, when I had left India, I always felt I'd come back someday. So around 13 years ago now, I decided to move back and focus my entrepreneurship efforts here. So I've been a tech and product entrepreneur now, building businesses using technology across many different domains, including e-commerce, interior design, analytics, healthcare, and now insurance. That's very quickly me.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Nipun. And now that we know a bit about your background, let's dive into RIA Insurance. So, can you elaborate on the core services and solutions that RIA offers, especially your in-house low-code insurance automation platform, Symphony?
So let me give you a little bit more context on what we do overall. So what we are is we're an InsurTech company which enables other companies, which could be lenders, e-commerce players, travel aggregators, insurance intermediaries, to offer insurance to their customers. Now, that's where Symphony comes in. Symphony is our platform which enables us to deliver that experience to these companies, right? So our platform can deliver any kind of insurance product, be it life, health, cyber, which are main areas of focus for us, but power the entire insurance life cycle from, say, sales to endorsements to claims and customer servicing for any user of our platform, right? So, we personalize these journeys to particular partner and insurance needs, because every partner has their own variation of their customers and how they, think about insurance and should think about insurance. And
Yeah.
that's what our platform enables us to do. So typically, if you go out and look in the market, sometimes it may take 3 to 6 months to launch a new insurance journey. Let's say you start a company and you want to offer your customers insurance. You may end up spending 3 to 6 months working with insurers, but we're able to bring that down to weeks. So that's really where our core value prop lies.
Interesting. I also read this statement about RIA Insurance taking a very differentiated approach by using health data and digital health to keep your customers healthier. So that's what I read. So can you explain this approach in a little bit more detail?
That's one of the visions we have as RIA, and especially in the health space, is actually to try to transform insurance from health insurance more specifically,
Hmm.
from not just paying the bills, but actually helping people stay healthier. So one part of that is enabled by our platform. Of course, there's a lot of different things that come into that, from the insurance side, from the health side, but our platform enables us to do that. As our first step in that direction, we're actually working with a customer in the US who's leveraging our platform to power an obesity management program. So this is, trying to deliver automation in the space of obesity care. So if anyone wants to get help from their provider, which is this customer of ours, to better manage their obesity, our platform enables them to do it much better, faster, offer automation across workflows and AI in the long term as well.
Interesting. So circling back to Symphony, as far as I understand, it aims to increase straight through processing and improve underwriting decisions, correct? So tell us what specific features or capabilities make Symphony uniquely capable of achieving these improvements compared to other solutions in the market.
So if I break down Symphony, Symphony essentially has multiple different components. The first of which is the workflow orchestration or automation layer, and you alluded to that already, which allows us to create and run any kind of insurance workflow out there across the spaces I mentioned, from distribution to claims,
Yeah.
customer servicing, and underwriting. Right. So that's the first layer. The second is what we call a health data platform. Now, that you can think of it as a customer data platform. In marketing, you often have customer data platforms which try to create this customer 360. That is what our health data platform enables us to do on consent, of course. We're able to bring in customer data that you share, any customer shares, and organize it in a way that can help us create this longitudinal view into your health, on top of which various health services and other insurance related services can come in. So that's the health data platform piece. Third piece is we have rules which are written specifically for insurance, be it health rules, be it financial rules. As part of our rules engine, can then allow us to automate underwriting, automate risk, and more, and claims as well. The next piece is we have this layer of building front ends. So any kind of front end you can think of, like a website where someone might who may be a customer of, say, a Flipkart, and they want to offer some kind of insurance, right? So insurers typically provide microsites, or they build the journeys for different partners. We can create these distribution journeys using our front end builder very, very quickly. Right. So that's another component of our platform. And then finally is a layer of a lot of different connectors. So connectors to third-party data sources that exist in the market. We are not building these data sources necessarily. And you can imagine in the future ABDM and so on also plugging in. And then also connectors to other AI companies, and we know, of course, like GPT and Claude and all of those models out there. We're building many connectors which allow us to leverage the power of various companies out there in orchestrating workflows for insurance.
All right. So, Nipun, I understand who your target market is from the surface, but could you elaborate on who the primary beneficiaries of your platform are and how your platform is tailored to meet their needs?
Any customer that wants to enhance their value proposition to their customers with insurance is a user of our platform, right? Now, while our platform Symphony can enable much more, but we've narrowed our scope of what we are doing and offering is specifically down to that at the moment.
Okay.
Let's take a few examples for me to explain what that means, right? So banks, for instance, have been sellers of insurance for many, many years, right? But those sales journeys are often, a bit cut and dry. Personalize it to the customer's specific need. The customers often don't understand the product they're actually buying, and often, even agents that are selling the platform have purely their sales target in mind, right? So what we can do is, for a specific bank who offers a certain type of, say, loan or service to their customers, and they know that that segment is, like what their customer is and who they are. We try to design the journey, and they can offer many different flavors, variations of the journey of selling that insurance product to this particular customer, right? So they don't have to have a one size fits all distribution journey, and that's what our platform enables us to do. Similarly, for other kinds of customers, we work with lenders who are adding insurance to, say, loans which their customers are taking in order to protect themselves against the loss of life, which can be catastrophic to certain families. E-commerce companies are, using our platform to provide small ticket insurance products, such as which health insurance for protecting against mosquito-borne diseases, which is very relevant in the current today's world. Of course, this is not a
Yeah.
new product. It's not creating the insurance product, but we are enabling others to sell it very quickly and easily. And similarly, brokerage companies that exist out there are using us to uh, in tech enable their customers, essentially. That's sort of some examples of customers that we.
Nipun, we'd love to hear the names of some of your existing customers, your clients that have benefited from RIA services.
While we do have NDAs, so I'm afraid I cannot give the names without their consent. So at the moment, that's because we are so early on, we're sort of in that phase. But as I mentioned, typically the customers include e-commerce, travel, lending, insurance intermediaries. So those are the buckets in which we have customers today.
So, Nipun, as we stand in the present, where would you position RIA in terms of its current stage of growth?
So we are, I would say, we are an early stage company, but we have revenue. What phase I would say we're in is we're looking for powering that sales growth at the moment, right? So our platform is ready. We have our early set of customers. Now we're, testing things with them and we have early revenue. Now we're looking to amplify sales. That's where we are at in terms of stage.
So far, are there any business numbers or metrics that you are proud of and would like to share with us? Any business numbers?
From a sales perspective, right now, maybe not, it's a bit too early to disclose
Hmm.
and share. Um, but of course, from a, platform side, some of the feedback we've received from the insurance industry, which includes a lot of veterans both in India and globally, has been extremely positive. Insurance has had lots of challenges in terms of, delivering tech because it is a massive industry. There is a lot of risk involved when you're trying to shift and modernize. So, I think we've got very good feedback on our platform. I think now is the moment where we sort of start to switch gears and try
That's
to
great.
amplify numbers.
That's great. So, are there any, strategic partnerships or collaborations that have been particularly beneficial for RIA Insurance and Symphony's development?
So one of the things that we're doing is, like I mentioned, some of the layers that Symphony as a platform
Yeah.
involves. An important aspect to that is all these external connectors or systems. So those are important to us and to our growth and to our customers, right? It's about solving the customer need at the end of the day. So for example, data sources that we are leveraging, and we have a few different partners we've worked with on that side who have various connectors built out again on customer consent to various data sources, which enable our customer to improve the journeys, right? Which
Hmm.
whether it be like the lender or whether it be the insurance company, uh, those data connects enable us to not just distribute better, but also bring in more new data into underwriting and so on. So that's one area of collaborators, partners that has been essential to us and important for our journey in kind of going forward.
All right. So Nipun, now that you are, at a stage where you are looking to amplify your sales, I'd like to understand an overview of your market penetration. Like, are you concentrating on any specific geographic regions or types of insurers to expand your presence?
So geography-wise, our focus is India primarily, in terms of all kinds of customers, companies that are looking to offer insurance to their customers. So that is a core target segment. As I mentioned, we do have some work going on in the US, but that is a secondary focus for us. Primarily, India is where we're looking at and looking to grow.
And where's your office located?
The office is in Delhi and Bangalore. These are two places where we operate out of. Although up till a few months ago, we've been primarily a distributed team. So we have still have teammates all across the country. Gradually, we are consolidating into these two areas of focus, but we still have a decent amount of remote presence and number of colleagues of mine sit all over the country.
So while we are on the topic, tell us about the team behind, RIA and your co-founders. Introduce us to them and tell us what expertise do they bring to the table.
Yeah. So the team at the moment, we have about 30 people on our team, most of which, let's say about 20 of those are tech and product focused. The remaining has strong expertise in insurance for the most part. That's how broadly we are a blend of tech and insurance. Um, in terms of my co-founders, Prerak is also an engineer by background. After his undergrad, he worked with Deloitte in the US doing analytics for many years. Then he got his MBA from Kellogg, worked in sales and marketing analytics, and then moved back to India to also become an entrepreneur. He understands insurance inside out. I think today in the country, he's probably one of the people who has a unique blend of tech and insurance. And he's also founder of a non-profit called India InsurTech Association, which is actually
Yeah.
bringing together this ecosystem of InsurTech in the country, which has been growing quite well. And anyone in the audience who would like to learn more or do more insurance, I would encourage them to attend the conference. And I hope to see them there as well. Um, Mukul, other than that, Mukul is another one co-founders. He's a gold medalist from IIT Kanpur. Also got his MBA from Kellogg. Spent a number of years at McKinsey in India and Southeast Asia. He's also worked with a number of large tech companies like Salesforce and Sprinklr globally, where he worked on selling into large accounts. So that's one of his areas of expertise. But apart from that, as I said, our team has this stellar background in insurance, including many life and GI companies like ICICI Pru, Care, Acco, tech companies like Google and Salesforce, and
Hmm.
also, the gamut of educational institutes in our country like the IITs, IIMs, and of course the uh, couple of foreign schools I already mentioned, but yeah, I think that's generally just of it.
I must say that sounds like such an exceptional bunch of team that you've got. Amazing. So are you looking to hire anybody? Any current openings at the moment?
Very kind of you to say. Yes. So there's two areas, actually one primary area that we're looking to hire in, which is sales and partnerships. So as I mentioned, who our target customer is, and we're in that phase of ramping up on sales. So that's really the key area we're looking to bring people into it. So anyone who uh, is self-driven and is a go-getter who wants to help go out and build partnerships and drive sales is sort of a good fit, and we are happy to have conversations there. Yeah, so hiring, that's really the key.
Amazing. I'm sure you get some good applicants after this interview. So Nipun, let's talk about the financial side a little bit. So tell us, how does RIA generate revenue from Symphony and from all the services that you offer, and what are your pricing models?
So, you know, as I said, any company who wants to enhance their value proposition to their customers is a user of our platform. Now, in terms of pricing, we typically take a fee from customers who want to enable these kind of insurance journeys for them. It's very similar to a tech SaaS kind of model, but more insurance centric
Hmm.
and kind of different tiers which connect to the kind of journey they want us to enable. So whether it could be a distribution journey, could be an underwriting journey, it could be a claims journey. And so it depends on the customer, their needs, and what we help enable for them.
So now looking at the future, tell us what are some upcoming features or expansions that user can look forward, to on the RIA insurance platform in the next 2 quarters per se, and how do those align with your long-term vision?
Right. So I'll already mentioned, sales is or growth is kind of the main focus area. But apart from that, we're working on a few unique insurance product ideas with a handful of insurers. So our tech platform and needs that we're sort of working on and building on are tailoring it towards those products, like to try to innovate on the insurance product. So that's one key area of focus for us for the next 3 to 6 months. Be happy to tell the uh, tell you and your audience more in the next few months as we go live. On the tech side, our focus is stability and scale, of course, to support the kind of scale that we're looking to drive. And last but not the least, of course, AI is an area of focus for us and others, and you mentioned that a couple of times as well, where we see it as three areas we're investing in from an AI perspective. First is to build deep IP in risk assessment for morbidity and mortality risk, which connects back to underwriting, and you mentioned that previously. Second is to leverage AI to enhance insurance distribution and underwriting using co-pilots, which is backed by our insurance domain data and knowledge. And the final is to use AI in a more everyday manner to enable our team to function better. So this could be for code quality or documentation or presentation. So from an AI perspective, that's the threefold approach that we've come up with, and we like to use and think about what we're doing in AI.
Quite a lot of exciting things to look forward to. So, Nipun, we'd love to understand the people who've been backing you on this journey. So, tell us about your investors and give us, some details on maybe the amount of funding that you've managed to raise so far, and if you are planning to raise any further.
So we have a very good set of investors that we work pretty closely with. So our institutional investors include BNext, Leo Capital, and Rain Matter. And we also have a couple of Indian family offices and global insurance industry veterans who have been seed investors to us. In terms of the amount, I'd rather not disclose at the time, but whatever is in the public domain is fair. In terms of fundraising, at the moment we are not actively fundraising, and yeah, I think so. We're in a good place to meet some of the needs that we're working on.
Now, Nipun, keeping in mind that we will be promoting this video, this conversation to large enterprises, investors, tech giants, and a broader InsurTech and startup ecosystem in general, is there anything else that you would like to put down that could help you find any external assistance or support in your concerned areas?
Thank you so much for that offer. So I think there's probably two areas which we've already spoken about where we would love help with. One is introduction to companies who would like to explore the insurance value proposition for their customers, be it e-commerce, lending, travel, it could be digital or offline, and that's areas where we could help with, or even just have conversations to learn about certain segments, right? So that's one area we could use help with. And second is to grow sales, which we would love to continue to grow sales and partnership, and we're also hiring in that space. So if anyone out there is looking for a role in that space, or know someone, we'd love to connect with them as well. Those are two areas. Gladly take some help.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And now, before we wrap this up, actually, I've prepared, 5 quick rapid fire questions for you. So I hope you don't mind. Are you ready?
Sure, fire away.
Okay. Okay. So, question one, a book or a podcast that you would like to recommend that has greatly influenced, your life in some way.
If I talk about books, actually, the one book that comes to mind, and this goes back to maybe just as I was coming out of my MBA, was Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. And I think it got me thinking. I already had entrepreneurship on my mind, but of course, hearing this story, reading about this story with its goods and bads, I think was quite inspirational to think about my own leadership style, right, and what that would mean. And I think so somehow that book's always been a part of me. You also asked podcasts, and I'm happy to answer that one as well, because recently I've been listening to a podcast by a person called Lenny Richitsky. It's a product-focused podcast, but he has some phenomenal speakers on there through which I've learned a ton, and I want to keep going back to them and learn more and pick up very interesting books and so on. But yeah, that's one I highly recommend.
Okay, question two. Which productivity tool or app do you find most helpful in your daily work?
I think I'd say Trello. Like Trello is something we use. I probably use, 15 times, 20 times a day, or maybe
Oh,
even It's pretty awesome.
That's a good pick. Okay, question three. A fun fact about you that most people don't know yet.
So while generally I'm a very quiet person, but when I'm watching a sport where my team is playing, like let's say cricket in India or something else, I think my voice elevates to a level where my neighbors can probably hear me as well. So other than my neighbors and my family, I think no one else really knows about this. But yeah.
That's nice and that's really fun. Okay, question number four. What is your favorite quotation or mantra that you live by?
One recent mantra that I I've started thinking about more and trying to follow more of is making time for what matters. And I think the reason that sort of struck me is because I think a lot of us tend to be busy all the time, and we
Yeah,
all feel like we have so many things to do. But at the end of the day, I think you got to pause and think about what really is important to you at this point in time in life, right? And do take time out to figure out where you want to spend your time. I think so that's something I'm trying to embody more of. Probably have ways to go, but yeah, that's something.
that one really got me thinking too. So finally, as an experienced entrepreneur in the InsurTech space, what insights or advice would you give to other entrepreneurs and businesses looking to innovate in the insurance industry?
I think there's a general one that's always at the top of mind, which is talk to your customers. I think there's no substitute for that. We often make mistakes, including us, having been doing these entrepreneurship journeys now for many years. But there is no substitute. Talk to your customers, go out there. And the sweet spot I've heard from other entrepreneurs lately is if you can speak to somewhere between 20 and 25 people to kind of validate a proposition that you might have in your mind, that's about a number that you might want to aim at. Because the first 5 or 10 you'll find in your networks.
Yeah,
Beyond that is where then you'll push and you'll really test it with the next 10, 15 people.
100%. Well, Nipun, I hope this was worthy of your time. Thank you so much and all the very best.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and look forward to seeing more of your podcasts as well as me coming back in.
Of course, I'm sure. I'm confident, yeah, because there are a lot of milestones that you are yet to achieve, and I hope we get to speak about all of those here right here on Follow Startups. Now, one last question. Actually, I'm so sorry I missed it. I want you to make a wish for your startup that you hope comes true in the near future or before our next conversation.
Well, connecting back to my last point, I'd say, the wish that most startups have is, I wish that I'm solving real problems for my customers because I think that will keep us moving along. Otherwise, I think that's where you hit roadblocks.
Well, cheers to transforming insurance workflows and setting new benchmarks for efficiency. Like I said, all the very best. And if you'd like to stay updated with the latest developments and business insights at RIA Insurance, you can follow their channel on follow.us/startups. And to feature your startup, you can reach out to me at ankita.pahwa@follow.us. We would love to hear your story.